And for more on Mike Pompeo's visit to Israel, we are joined by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, thank you very much for joining us live on the programme. We've just heard Mike Pompeo voice his almost unconditional support to Israel. Can you tell us exactly how controversial this issue of annexation of West Bank territories is?
Well, it's very controversial, Simon, because the international community, as you may know, refuses to recognize settlements in the West Bank, the Israeli settlements that are there, saying that they are all illegal. And this peace plan put forward by Donald Trump, backed by the United States, is going to make those settlements legitimate. That means that 700,000 Israeli settlers who are in the West Bank will find themselves in a legitimate position, whereas up until today, those settlements have been illegal. And that's not all, because this plan also entails the annexation of 30% of Palestinian lands along the Jordan Valley, close to the border between Palestine and Jordan. Those areas are very fertile. The land is used for growing crops. That will also come under Israeli control if this annexation goes ahead. Now, what is very important here is that you have to remember that Donald Trump is in an election year. He wants to bring on board the right-wing Jewish community in the United States, also the Christian evangelists who are in favor of annexation in the West Bank. He also wants to bring them on board to try to boost his chances of re-election in the November election. That's why he sent Mike Pompeo over there today to take part in the ceremony, the inauguration ceremony for this new government in Israel after 3 elections which didn't come out with any majority for Benjamin Netanyahu, the outgoing Israeli prime minister. He is now in a coalition agreement with Benny Gantz, his main rival. So this will be an occasion as well for Mike Pompeo to meet Benny Gantz, to try to work out what side he is on. Benny Gantz saying that he's in favor of the annexation, but only if the international community will back it.
And of course, Philip, Mike Pompeo is also in Israel to brief leaders about regional issues. The main one here is Iran.
Yes, and Iran seen as a real threat to Israel, Iran which has never accepted the existence of Israel. And at the moment, Israel has been suspected of bombing Iranian positions in Syria, where a civil war has been raging since 2011. And there's also growing worry also a bit further north in Lebanon, where there is a very unstable economic situation, and where Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, is also one of the major political forces there. So I think this visit by Mike Pompeo is also there to show that there is galvanized support for Israel from the United States face to face with Iran.
International Affairs editor Philip Turle, thank you very much for that analysis.